Let's be real. In any warehouse, your biggest expense, it's almost always your people. And the real challenge is making sure that expense translates directly into profitable output. So today, we're going to break down a playbook filled with real, actionable solutions to plug those common productivity leaks for good. This is the kind of question that keeps warehouse managers up at night. You see the overtime hours creeping up, but the number of shipments going out the door isn't. It's like you feel the engine revving, you hear all the noise, but the wheels are just spinning in the mud. That's the classic sign of a major productivity problem. And let's be super clear about what's at stake here. I mean, labor isn't just a cost. In most cases, it's your number one, your biggest line item. So every wasted step, every single moment of idle time, that's not just a small hiccup. That's profit actively leaking right out of your business. Okay, so before we can even think about solutions, we've got to figure out what we're actually up against. Think of it like being a doctor for your warehouse. We need to do the diagnostic work first. What's actually causing that leak? Because trust me, it's rarely just one thing. And what's so interesting about this list is that these aren't separate problems at all. Nope, they're a chain reaction, a domino effect. See? Poor shift planning means one zone is slammed while another is quiet. Then, without clear targets, supervisors can't redirect people where they're needed most. And where does it all end up? A bottleneck, where you're literally paying people to stand around and wait. It's a perfect storm of inefficiency. All right, so we've diagnosed the problem. Now for the good part, the cure. We're going to break this down into a real manager's playbook. We're going to tackle those really common "what on earth do I do when" scenarios with simple, concrete, actionable steps. So let's kick it off with a classic. I'm sure you've seen this one. The team is staying late, they're clocking overtime, the costs are going up, but somehow the number of orders going out the door is flat. It just doesn't make sense, right? Well, it points to a problem with how the work is being done, not just how much time is being spent. The playbook for this is actually pretty logical. It's a step-by-step process. You start with the data, right? You analyze the workload to see where the mismatch is. Then you get out on the floor and find those physical bottlenecks where things are getting stuck. The quick fix is to move people around, reallocate them. But the real fix, the long-term solution, that's cross-training. That's how you build a team that can adapt on the fly. It's a system that just keeps getting stronger. And this right here, this quote just nails the financial poison of unproductive overtime. You're literally paying more, premium rates, for hours that aren't actually moving any more product. That shoots your cost per order through the roof, and you can just sit there and watch your profits disappear. Okay, next challenge, and it's a big one. The budget is tight. Hiring more people, not an option. So how do you squeeze more picks per hour out of the team you already have? Well, listen, this isn't about telling people to work harder. It's about helping them work smarter. This is where we get into some pure, simple process engineering. Just look at the flow here. First, you attack the biggest time waster in any warehouse, walking. You do that by reslotting your fast movers. Makes sense, right? Then you change the picking method itself with something like batch or zone picking. And you back all that up with clear targets and technology like scanners to make every single step faster and more accurate. And just look at the payoff here. We're talking a 10 to 30% boost in productivity without adding a single person to the payroll. That is not a small change. That's a game changer. That's a total transformation of your warehouse's capacity, and you did it just by rethinking the process. You know what I'm talking about, right? Every warehouse has them. Those lulls, those quiet periods between big waves of orders where you see people just standing around. Now, that idle time can feel like a necessary evil, but what if I told you that it's actually a golden opportunity? The whole idea is to take that idle time and reinvest it right back into the health of your operation. You can see the progression. Use the time for things like cycle counts to make your inventory more accurate. Schedule cleaning and organizing to make the workflow smoother later on. And best of all, invest in training to build a stronger, more flexible team for the next rush. You're basically turning downtime, which is a cost, into proactive improvement, which is an investment. And this quote really gets to the heart of it. It's a total mindset shift. The rule is simple. Every single labor hour has to create value. If you're not fulfilling orders right now, you should be doing something that makes fulfilling future orders better, faster, or cheaper. It's about preventing problems before they even have a chance to start. Now, all these action points are great. They're powerful. But let's be honest, sometimes it can feel like you're just constantly fighting fires. So, to stop the fires from even starting, we have to move beyond quick fixes and start building a stronger, more resilient system. And this chart, wow, it lays out that evolution perfectly. So on the left, you've got your quick wins. Think of these as your daily firefighting tools. Things like holding a quick huddle or rebalancing the workload for the day. But on the right, the long-term fixes, that's how you build a truly fireproof system. Instead of just rebalancing daily, you're using data to plan shifts weeks in advance. Instead of just setting targets, you're using live KPI dashboards so everyone can see the score. It's the difference between reacting and truly planning. Which brings us to our final and maybe most critical section, because none of these improvements mean a thing if you can't measure them. You've heard the saying a million times, right? You can't improve what you don't measure. So what should you actually be tracking? Think of these 4 KPIs as a complete health check for your warehouse. You've got picks per hour, that's your individual and team speed. Then you zoom out to orders per labor hour. That's the whole warehouse's efficiency. Then you get to your cost metrics. Overtime percentage is like a warning light on your dashboard. It tells you there's a planning problem. And finally, labor cost per order. That's the bottom line. That's the one that tells you if you're spending your money wisely. And really, that's why data is your absolute best friend in all of this. Good KPIs, they just get rid of the guesswork. They shine a bright light on exactly where your problems are. They give everyone on the team a clear goal to shoot for, and they give you a solid baseline so you can actually see if the changes you're making are working. So at the end of the day, it all boils down to this one simple but powerful question. Because being busy isn't the same as being productive. Activity doesn't always equal achievement. By diagnosing the real root causes, applying a clear, actionable playbook, and then measuring what really matters, you can finally transform your warehouse from a place where people are just busy to a place where every single hour worked is truly, actively, and profitably driving your business forward.